All right, thank you everyone for returning. Greatly appreciate it. Professor Clue here, giving you the one on my favorite career out of all the careers in real estate, the one that I worked hardest to obtain, the one that was the only reason for me to get into this line of work. You've met everyone else. You've met all the workers from the bottom level all the way up. Now you meet the plug. You meet the connect. Our last discussion was property management, right? How you can excel your career, make some ends, build a team, eat some food with your homies, and live good. And we got a little taste into that with the other careers about how you can eat and do well. But now, what we're going to discuss is the developer, the contractors, their role in real estate, the big homies, the connects, Sosa's from Scarface, um, Felipe Lobos from Power, any of the any big time connects anywhere. I can't even think of any more right now. But the developer, the contractor, as you've probably seen on some of the slides already, um, they're the big dogs. They control the business. Um, as somebody who is a licensed contractor, I can tell you that this is for big dogs only. You need to take your lumps and bruises at the other level first before you come this way with that because it's real over here. Um, we are creating the product. So think of that big guy from Colombia in his line of work that that's us in this line of work. What he is to that business is what contractors are, contractors and developers are to the real estate business. That's how you relate our roles. So if you want to be the man, you really want to become either a developer or a contractor, something along those lines. Without us, nothing gets done. We create the improvements that make real estate more valuable. Remember in previous discussions, we talked about how when you build on top of land, you increase the value. So without us, the value doesn't increase. We make real estate profitable. Being the developer or the contractor is the most ego fulfilling of all the careers in real estate. You make the product, the cream of the crop product always sells out. There's a demand for it. So if you are designing on craftsmanship, like if you're looking at, great product, the equivalent of what I put out there or any great designer puts out there or any great contractor, it's equivalent to Blue Magic or 121st Street in Harlem, 125th in Harlem. It's just that it come back blue, if you know what I'm talking about. I mean, when your heat is heat and it come back blue, everybody wants you, just like everybody wanted that Blue Magic. Can't nobody see you. However, just like having Blue Magic, with being in charge, although there's some greats here in control, you're doing a lot of things, there are some downsides that come with it. First thing first, haters gonna hate. Just is what it is. They're gonna hate on you. Stunting, flossing, big homie shit, that come with a price. And that price is called hate. People will be mad at you not even knowing you have money like a rap star. But your whole aura will change because when you put as the plug, when you put your fly shit out, your top product, your Blue Magic, you know, your light whip work where the wrists don't hurt when you whipping it up and putting it together. Smell it out the bag. When your product is like that and the people recognize that you got the top product, you're unstoppable. Everyone's coming to you. Brokers want to develop relationships with you. Remember, we said brokers were entry level to the connect. They're not corner boys, but they're like entry level plugs. They're the guys that you would get like your Z's and your halves and anything bigger than like little nickel bag stuff. Now brokers are coming to you wanting to mess with you. They want to sell your product. They want a shot at you. They want to come. It's just like when you start off young in the game and you start looking for contacts and you start looking for connects. You want to you're always trying to get it for the lower price and trying to get it cheaper and cheaper. So what happens is as you're looking for the best product, you go from place to place just like a broker would do until you find the developer or contractor that got the constant supply for you that can always keep you going. And the reason why the brokers come to the developers is because they want to sell the development for a fee, of course. Financiers want to put money up behind you. So financier, as we went through in past discussions, the financiers are the people who put the money up. Folks with no real talent, but they got some money. So, well, most of the time, you can't say that always, but most of it be folks with no real money that just want to get into the game because they got money. They're difficult to deal with because if you ever listen to Damon Dash, he always tells you anybody who got money is in charge. And that is true because when you work with financiers and they put up the money, they be wanting to have a say in it a lot. So you would have to get with your lawyer, another person on the team you're supposed to have, and make sure you work out an agreement where the financiers is always silent because then they get into your mix and they mess it up. And, you know, like Damon Dash says, um, always do it with your own money if you can. Start off with financier money, but when you get to the point where you can use your own bread, use your own bread. But the finances, they will put the money up behind you. You don't have to come out of pocket. It is all profit for you once you pay off all your workers and your permits and stuff like that. It is a lot of money with very little risk because the financiers put whatever your fees are incorporated in the amount that you tell them it'll take to develop the property. So you'll get everything is almost guaranteed for as long as the financier has the money. Or if they gave you the full amount of it up front, then you're good. You just have to figure out how to get it done in the time period that the financier gives you to get him his money back. So depending on how you set up your deal, um, that financier situation could work out for you, or it could be a pain in your ass if you're like me. All kinds of people you didn't know before they know you now. They want to be down with you. Everybody in the business want to be down with you once they find out you're a developer that gets stuff off, that you have something that they want, which is the property. They all want to be your friend now. They all want to tell you things. Everyone from the bottom, from the salesperson, the brokers, the appraisers, the mortgage lenders, um, property managers, everybody take notice of you now because you're the big dog. It's there. It's on the earth. It's showing. Like you don't even have to talk. They know what it is. They know who you are before they ever seen you. So this is the position of power. This is the one position where I really get it in for because this is what I strived to be. And I'm not fully. I'm not like the complete plug, but I'm up there. I make decisions as far as how these um, real estate flips go on my level. I'm not at top level, but at my level where I'm at, it's working quite well for me. Now, besides the people that are trying to get money with you, that are trying to buy into your business or trying to be nice to you to get bread, you have your workers. And once you start getting it, like really, really getting it, there is dissensions in the ranks. Just like any crew. If you've seen Paid in Full, you know, Calvin got mad at Ace because Ace was the big homie on the block. Not that he was broke, not that, but just for the simple fact that, he was the big homie and he was known as the person running things. So, when your workers, they don't feel like they eating well or they feel like they should be in control, they'll end up becoming Calvin from Paid in Full on you. So you have to be very, very careful. Even when you're out there spreading love and you thinking you helping them, they're gonna realize how much. Eventually, they're gonna know how much money you make because they always do, and then they're gonna be looking at you with um, a distaste. Trust me. Um, those guys, your guys that work under with you, carpenters, laborers, roofers. If you outsource these positions, roofers, and you outsource electricians, you outsource those kind of people, you don't really have no problem with them because they come in with a licensed company and they already have their own um, top dog that they relate to. So they really don't get to develop any hatred from you because they're getting paid from somebody else. They probably mad at Dayplug. So, so I always like to outsource high skilled positions. Um, They're always watching when you're the plug. Point blank, period. They're always watching. Like, it'll never stop. They stay watching. These workers, they would be, let's say, if we were all outside, um, your day workers, they would be considered like, if you ever seen The Wire, uh, Avon Barksdale, Stringer Bell, they were getting to the point. Well, Stringer Bell was trying to get to the point where he was wanted to be a developer for the hood in the trap and the real estate game. He is kind of an example of what Trap House University is. So if you look at the way how he did it, he understood the trap and he understood the real estate game. He didn't understand the legalities of it, but he understood what it meant as far as how he can get money. Now, you're gonna hire folks like, and if you ever seen The Wire, if you haven't, please watch it. Um, Weebay, um, Slim Charles, Savino, you know, even guys like Orlando, as I was talking about before. You always come across a guy like Orlando watching your every move and want to stop playing their position. That's the problem with workers. They don't like to play their position. They don't want to put in all the groundwork, like all those um, careers that we discussed earlier before we got to this slide. At some point in time, you have to get familiar with all of that before you could reach this level. Before you could get here, you got to get familiar with everything. You got to know these people. You either got to know how to do their work. You have to be on it. You have to know the business before you reach this level because everybody comes at you at this level. In real estate, whenever you got workers like that who feel like they know more than you, because yeah, they might have more experience at the job than you, but they don't have more experience than you putting together a team and getting projects done. So what happens is if you were in the real estate game, you would fire them, get rid of them, don't call them back, just disassociate with that person because that person will end up, just not caring and just trying to get their pay. And if you were in the trap, that kind of person, well, you know how that goes, bro. You do what they did to Orlando, fam. It is what it is. So let me give you a real life example of how this plug thing works. So I got a contract from a big company, I can't say who because they don't pay me anymore, to paint a second floor for a house for about $3,200, right? It was like a bathroom and a hallway. I didn't want to do the work because, I got out of that part where I was doing work. I was taking my way to becoming the plug. Remember how I said in the previous discussions, once you start getting business and once you start, growing, you can't do the work at bee shit no more. You got to delegate that responsibility to someone else because you can't work a bee and expand at the same time. You're taking up too much of your time being a worker bee, and that ain't no good for nobody. So, a guy that I did work with said, "Okay, hey, bro, the deal was I got $3,200 for the contract. Half of that I had to split with the company that gave me the contract. So I split half of that 3,200 with them, right? $1,600. Boom, boom. Out of that $1,600, I offered a former worker, the same worker that was like to do the work for me, 900 of that 1,600 to do the work. He gladly accepts because, it's $900 for 2 days of work. That's pretty good, especially since everything's going in the same color. It's not that hard, And I pay well. That's why I'm the big homie because they know. They know the cash come from me. I pay. The owner also needed a stairwell repaired, and I negotiated a contract for $700 on that. And out of that 700, I gave him five. So at the end, when his job check right in time, my laborer, he sees the $3,200 contract on the table. The owner left it on the table. He sees it. Caught the biggest attitude about money. All of a sudden, he ain't eating, he ain't getting money, he ain't enough of that, none of that. He's not happy no more. Never returned a phone call from me again. So you see, when you're a contractor, when you're in this position, big dog position, all eyes are on you. And by your workers, you're going to be seen as undeserving of the money that they worked for. They don't see it as you picked them up off the couch and gave them something to do. They don't see, what it takes to be the plug, all the hard work from the ground up. Like, yo, you have to start as a salesperson to become the plug. And you go through all those careers and all those lines of work before you get to this level. So you've been where they at. They just ain't never put in the time and take to get to this part of it because they're lazy, ungrateful sons of anyway. Um, they you're gonna get this. There's no way to get around it. They're gonna beg you for help, and then they're gonna come at you like your help ain't good enough, like it ain't worthy because you're making money off of them. However, in the trap game, it rarely goes like that. Like because of the consequences of coming at the plug, it doesn't happen that way. So when you convert to this business, you have to understand that you have to do things verbally or by paperwork with lawyers. You have to be mentally strong enough to sustain in this game because these dudes will test you to limits. And once you legit, you can't do, street stuff no more. Like you can relate street concepts to like how you built your street business to it. But as far as the actions that you take, you can't take street like actions. So you can't snuff your worker, for being stupid. You can't do things like that. You can't body them because, they didn't do a good job or they stole something. So as far as that part of it, you have to take your losses like a man or a woman or grown up. You got to just like accept it, learn from them, and make sure that doesn't happen again for the next time. Further on in these discussions, I'm going to tell you more stories about coming up in the game. Uh, these might be for the podcast, but I'll be telling you more stories about how we came up and, the kind of things we had to go through to get where we are in this, for me to be able to talk to you about it, you know, the struggles and the work that was put in. It took me about 6 years to get to this position, to be able to talk to you and give you the one on this. It took me about 6 years to uh, accumulate all this information and get all this knowledge that I'm able to share. It takes a while, but if you stick with it, it will work for you. Trust me. I know I made the plug seem bad because you got so much haters, but F it, bro. I'd rather be flying lonely than a bum ass hater, me personally. So there's no real peace in being the plug. Like you don't get everybody doesn't love you even though you feeding them. You know? So you have to understand that the real estate game is just like the street game. Everybody doesn't love you. Everybody wants your spot. Everybody's coming for you. But it sure does feel nice. Um, Once you get to this level, what I would say is the best way to stay at this level, continuously market your business, continuously grow, continuously never stay stagnant. Um, Pay well. They're ungrateful anyway, but still pay well because when they talk to other people about you, those people will call you to ask you to come work for you, and you will get some good workers that way. Um, Never talk money. The only time y'all talk money is before the job gets done. Y'all get your contracts together. You say this, that, and then go from there. I just had to fire somebody off of some stupidness, but hey, it happens. It is what it is. Um, be fair, and this is gonna sound redundant, but make sure your team is strong. Because as a plug, you're gonna need a super team. You're gonna need the '90s Bulls. You're gonna need the Shaq and Kobe Lakers. You're gonna need the Steph Curry Golden State Warriors. You're gonna need the New England Patriots. You're gonna need a squad. You're gonna need a squad. You're gonna need that same squad that Sosa sent over to Scarface house. You're gonna need them cats, right? You're gonna need like what Milan got. All those hitters. You're gonna need those guys. You're gonna need an army to help you get to this point. And community economics is the main thing I would like to share with you all. So look at the person beside you, see if they can help you get to this point. Meet new people. People are always, what I've learned is that at first, no one believes you. No one believes in you. They just think you're talking shit. Blah, 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 blah. Once you get the vision started and they see that you're doing things, everybody wants to get down. They see it. They want to be a part of it. They want to put money up. They want to put time in it. So just keep building out your vision and show people that you're doing stuff, and you will get the resources you need to get it done. We will continue more, but as far as careers in real estate, this is it. There'll be more discussions on roles. I wouldn't say roles of the plug, but I'll give you scenarios of what I went through in more videos and in the podcast, and we'll have discussions about, what I did and how I approach things and what I would do differently, what I would do the same, and share it with you all. So thank you for coming along this journey. I hope you all stay a whole lot longer. And I'm gonna show you how to get this bread because everybody need it, right? Later.